Gold only attracts gold. Lead doesn't attract gold. And so then when we see our life now as an initiation, and we have to meet the conditions in our life from a greater level of mind every day, then wouldn't it be a good idea every day to ask yourself a question like, what is the greatest expression of myself that I can be today? One lifetime today. Can I demonstrate love? Can I be patient? Can I be filled with energy and enthusiasm? Can I give? Who in history do I admire that I want to be like? And you begin to rehearse a new way of being and begin to install the neurological hardware in your brain so you have the circuits in place that when you open your eyes, you're somebody else. And you get that heart-centered emotion going. You move out of these survival centers, and the moment you open your heart, it's a fact. The Heart Math Institute did the research. Take a clear intention and marry it with an elevated emotion, and you change matter. You alter DNA at a distance because the thoughts you think are like the electrical charge in the quantum field, and the feelings that you emote are like the magnetic charge. And how you think and how you feel broadcasts an electromagnetic signature that influences every single atom in your life. So what are you broadcasting every day? So if you were able to practice it and change your brain and body ahead of the environment every day, then, you know, your friends would go, you look different. Did you change your hairstyle? No. No. Really? Did you shave your mustache? No, never had a mustache. Really? Did you lose weight? No. No. Whoa. Wow. Something's different about you because they're sensing a change in energy. And when you change your energy, you change your life. How many people are with me? So, great time to be alive, would you agree? We signed up for this. But listen, you can't stand up and in the name of spirituality say, hey, let's all live in gratitude, and get in your car and be like, hey, get out of the way, cut people off. What's that? That's like, eating a delicious, vegetarian organic breakfast and then spending the rest of your day eating junk food. That you have to lay down we have to lay down the very thing we used our whole life to get what we want for something greater to happen. And it means that all of the conditions in our outer world somehow reflect some aspect of us. And if you want peace in the world, you better not be arguing with your coworker. It doesn't work that way. And if you want to experience true fascination for life, make time for fascination. I was in Barcelona a little ways back, and I was invited to speak to the ministry of all the ministries in the government there, 17 different ministries. And they're in a crisis right now. And the one thing I didn't want to be was some know-it-all American, And I said, how do you become supernatural? You got to start doing what's unnatural. When there's a crisis and everybody is in lack, that's the time to give. When everybody else is in fear, that's the time to demonstrate courage. When everybody else is hostile and judging, that's the time to show compassion. And if we can continuously do over and over again what is so unnatural, sooner or later will become supernatural. Wouldn't you agree? So then if you're working on your anger and your frustration, and I'm working on my fear and my anxiety and my judgment, and I'm taking care of me and you're taking care of you, then everybody was doing that, we would sooner or later start to see some change in the world. Yes? So then we have to begin to start somewhere. And the place we start then is looking within and beginning to look at some of those emotions that keep us anchored to the past, that literally begin to break us down. And if a person can move into an elevated state of being every day, and they understand that they're signaling new genes just by doing that, just by doing it. If you have that understanding, you will produce greater results. You take a group of hotel maids from Latin America and you watch them in one day move mattresses around and move beds and move furniture, and you follow the amount of activity they do, and you watch how much they eat. They did this experiment. They found that all of these maids were actually burning more calories than they were eating, and they were actually surpassing the Surgeon General's requirement for exercise. So they divided the maids in two categories, and they told the one group of maids, hey, you know what? Exercise is really good for your heart. You know what it does? Not only is it good for your heart, but it also lowers your body fat index, and it shrinks your waist, and gave them all these benefits of exercise. 1 month later, guess what happened? Maids were doing the exact same thing that they were always doing, but they lost weight, their heart rate went down, they had a smaller waist size, lean body mass went down. Why? Because they had intention behind what they were doing. They assigned meaning to what they were doing. And so, if a group of elderly men can retreat from their life for 5 days and go to a retreat center north of Boston, all these men in their 70s and 80s, and they were told to act like they were 22 years younger. Just pretend. And they had, magazines with Mickey Mantle and Joe DiMaggio and Marilyn Monroe movies, and they had papers with current events. And for 5 days, they hung out with other men, and they just pretended like they were 22 years younger. They took height measurements, weight measurements, range of motion measurements, finger length measurements, extremity measurements, and cognitive tests. At the end of 5 days, guess what? 60% better scores on cognition. Finger lengths, all of them longer. Range of motion, all improved. Some of them were playing touch football again without their canes. Who are you pretending to be? Because if you can begin to understand that when you begin to change your state of being, that a thought begins to activate new neural networks in your brain. New neural networks in your brain begin to fire and wire to create a hologram or a picture. That hologram or picture signals the limbic brain to make neuropeptides. And neuropeptides are chemical messengers that signal hormones. And hormones and neuropeptides begin to dock on receptor sites of cells. And cells begin to get a new message and signal new genes. And new genes make new proteins. And new proteins means the expression of life. And the expression of life is equal to the health of your body. Just by changing a thought. So then, if you woke up every morning and you pretended to be genius of the universe, unlimited mind, healthy, you would probably have to stop on the side of the road with your pen and write down the download that you were getting from the field because you never thought in that way. And so you and I have been hypnotized and conditioned into believing that we need a reason for joy, that we need a reason to give thanks. We need a reason to feel inspired. That's the old model of reality, of Newtonian physics, of cause and effect. Wait for something outside of you to change how you feel inside of you. And the moment you feel better inside of you, you pay attention to who caused it outside of you. And that event's called a memory. That's cause and effect. Quantum model of reality, as Greg said, is about causing an effect. Begin to change how you think and feel, broadcast a whole new electromagnetic signature, and give thanks before the event is made manifest. Materialists would never do that, but the quantum mind, the immaterialist, always does that, because the moment you begin to observe a new future, that's called intention, with an elevated energy, you are causing infinite waves of possibility to begin to collapse into new patterns of information called your life. But if you're observing your life from the same level of mind every day, and you begin to anticipate the next experience based on your past, I'm curious, Tell me where the unknown is going to show up in your life. Is there any room for that? It would just be too inconvenient. The alien ship landed in the back. Are you kidding me? Dancing with the Stars is on tonight. Can they come back tomorrow? I'm busy. This is inconvenient. So this is a time in history where we have to meet these challenges with a greater level of mind. And we can't keep doing the same things, thinking the same thoughts, performing the same actions, and living by the same emotions and secretly expecting our life to change. We have to meet all of these challenges, and we have to be the heroes and the heroines that begin to leave a legacy in this particular time. There's a stigma that you and I have been conditioned into believing that all leaders get it in the end. Abraham Lincoln, Martin Luther King, William Wallace, Joan of Arc, they all got it in the end. It's a subconscious conditioning that leaders somehow pay the price with their life. You ever see a group of birds that all move in the same direction? You ever see the fish that all swim in the same? If you study that phenomenon in biology, that's called emergence. You would think that there's a leader. It's a top-down phenomenon. Turns out there's no leader. It's a bottom-up phenomenon. Everybody is leading. There's one mind, one consciousness. So you can't take out all leaders if everybody's leading now, could you? So this is a time in history where emergence is the model, that we have to lead by example. And all of this information is to empower you to understand that it's possible. So we'll take a 10, 15-minute break. Come on back. I want to show you some slides of some of those pictures. Thanks for listening.